Hello, I'm Steve Lentini, and I'm your host for the podcast Different Thinking for Different Times. This is season 6, episode 23. First, I want to start with a couple of new things that I'm doing. I have another book out called Breaking the Cycle of Upset and How to Break the Annual Family Holiday Upset. So many families every holiday, repeated over and over again, sometimes in multiple holidays. And then, of course, if people decide, well, we'll just bear with one holiday, they end up choosing perhaps over the December holidays. And what they're not realizing is they're enrolled in the cycle of drama. And the book talks about how to break it by basically changing themselves and learning to not respond to their brain that suggest a reaction. And by having a whole different presence and a way to respond to people, your brain doesn't get activated or triggered. You learn to not pay attention to the emotions that rise through your body, like frustration or anger or things like disappointment, and then feeling the need to be right and express those to other people because who cares? Who cares about your opinion? And we have a society that's now become all about opinions. I mean, look at all the people on news channels that it's all they're doing is talking heads. And you know what's said about opinions, right? Everybody has one, just like our butt. Yeah. And we may be just like that part of the body when we start to give our opinions. Who cares? I want people to learn over time to be independent of the good and bad opinion of others, because either one is the brain judging something as good and feeling better because someone said something. Who cares? Just learn to feel good and then not to feel bad. Everything just is in a universe. It just is. You don't have to judge it. You can observe it. Like, oh, I see you're upset. What's going on? Talk to me about it. Why do you feel that way? When you're reacting and responding in a calm tone, it changes people's response. You have to learn that for yourself and prove it to yourself. So that book is available on Amazon now. Your Brain is Brilliant, I wrote last month, and it has a companion workbook and a 90-day journal, and that's on Amazon. The other thing I did, a friend interviewed me because we've talked over the years of stories where I got involved with buying the rights to books, investing in movies, and things like that. And he wanted to hear about that story. So the next episode will be in detail a story about the people I met and what I learned by investing in some of these projects and the kind of people that I learned about. And I'm grateful for all those events. They all seemed like good ideas at the time. So today's podcast is about the energy we waste with complaints and grievances. It's fascinating how many people talk to me about their complaints and grievances, whether it's about their work or someone in their life or a number of events in their life. And what they don't realize is wasting energy on complaints and grievances in your head and then beginning to share them with other people. Wait till you hear what happened to me this week. It takes away the energy from your own good. It delays what you really want more of in your life. Remember that what gets fed grows, and what doesn't get fed dies and fades away. So, why are you feeding complaints and grievances and walking around with them in your head, giving them rent free space, and then reinforcing it? You're feeding it by sharing it with many others. I've had people say to me that they couldn't meet their goals, they had problems performing at the company, and they had stories as to why. They had complaints about their companies, why the company couldn't deliver, yada, yada. And when they finally let go of the complaints and grievances, they hit their goals. So you're replacing the energy on complaints and grievances when you let them go and start to focus that energy on what you want more of. You're feeding what you really want, your desires, which can lead to higher income, higher positions, more promotions, but Nothing from the outside will make this brain, this acorn brain here, that's my logo, right? That's my trademark. Nothing will make that little thinker happy. You have to just decide to be happy, despite anything from the outside. No matter the occurrence, you just observe it. Now, how do you begin to deal with complaints and grievances? There's two things I recommend. You got to try this for yourself. Number one, if you can't control the situation, if it's out of your control, let it go. You're wasting energy. I mean, look at how many people complain about whoever gets elected president, because I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I got one vote. Whoever wins, wins. But many people are very upset over one outcome in an election or the other. It's wasted energy. And look what many of them do, including some people uproot their lives and move from the greatest country in the world. Can you imagine? They're going to go somewhere else and find many other problems because this is the only nation that allows the freedoms that we allow. So they move to escape, and then they go back on TV to talk about their complaints and grievances. It's only delaying your good when you're stuck in complaints and grievances. So your choice is, if you can't control it, let it go. Who cares? Let it go. Can't control it. If you can control it, the other thing to do is speak up with the person or people that can do something about it. Now, most of the people on TV are just complaining. You can't change the presidency, whether it's the last president, this president, previous presidents. People still have complaints. I hear stories about what Obama did. Who cares? It's done. Now, if we learn something from any one of the mistakes, wonderful. But in the meantime, stupid waste of energy. Now, partly the problem is our leaders are doing this, pointing fingers at each other because of the two-party system, which I think has failed us. I think we need 3, 4, 5 parties, or I kid and say maybe as many as football teams or baseball teams. So we just wear a jersey and we have a candidate run and we say, hey, I'm voting for the New York Giants candidate this year. I mean, it's crazy what we've gotten ourselves into, one side or the other. It's not productive. It's not healthy. Unless we have leaders that start to talk about, hey, I'm a Republican. I'd like to have a dialogue if I get elected with the other side and come to a compromise with my Democratic compatriots, and vice versa. Hey, I'm a Democrat, and what I'd like to do is get elected and have dialogue and then negotiate. Here's our side. Here's your side. Let's meet somewhere in the middle. We've lost the ability to have a dialogue. And that's this small-minded thinking. That's this little brain running everybody. And they believe their brain. That's why people get stuck in loops of complaints and grievances, because they just believe their brain. They don't spend any time reprogramming this little brain, the acorn brain that I also call the little fucker. It's an insidious little voice, and it wants to be right. That's why people love to go on TV as talking heads with their opinions about something, right? They want to be right. They want to be the one that's right. It's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback after events have happened. For people to look back and talk about it, I don't listen to any of the commentary. It's a waste of time. Who cares? It's done already. When it comes to your life, catch yourself in this loop of complaints and grievances. Start to notice what triggers you, where you feel it in your body, and begin to observe yourself. And you can reprogram your mind. In my book, Your Brain is Brilliant, here I'll get the hard copy cover so you can see it. I have a companion workbook that goes with it as well. If you want to do a class, you don't have to get certified by me to do a class. Your Brain is Brilliant. You can walk through the workbooks yourself. They're all on Amazon. Your brain is brilliant, but it's not always a friend. It's not. Most people recognize it and don't do anything about it. They believe their brain. It's small-minded. This acorn, the reason I picked an acorn is that you can see the possibility it might become an oak tree, but guess what? It has to get smashed open, crushed into the ground, and then it has to have all the right conditions to eventually mature into an oak. And that's what most people need, but they don't realize it because they are stuck in, hey, this is me. It's who I am. Get over it. No. It's always who we're choosing to be. That's what people are missing. You're choosing to be self-limited and small-minded. Sorry, that's the news. You are self-limiting and small-minded. If you're always believing your brain and railing to people about conditions you can't control, I don't care what party you're in. Today, it's why I'm an independent. I don't care because it's such a waste of time. Neither side is right. The truth is somewhere in the middle, and that's what society's about. Coming to compromise. Because no one's going to get 100% their way. And by the way, every time that happens, you see what happens in this past election. People were so upset, one side was so upset with the other, that it all got flipped over. And eventually that'll happen again too. So the Democrats lost because people got sick and tired of them preaching that they knew the right way, this woke conversation, right? No one knows any better. And to have that difference as a human being is elitist. It's having a dialogue and coming to a compromise that's not elitist and being willing. And that's limitless thinking. That's not the acorn brain. That's retraining your mind to consider other options, other possibilities, limitless possibilities. But humans think we know it all. We think we know about God. It even gets down to there's only one religion, whatever that one is, because it's the one religion that you think is right. Why are there so many religions? Why? If the creator of a universe wanted one religion, there'd be one religion. There'd probably be one race. There'd be one bug, one fish, one animal. I mean, just think of how bizarre that thinking is. We've got to come to appreciate that we live in something we don't know about. We don't know about the universe. We don't know. We're still learning. And it's way beyond our current comprehension. Now, I flatlined 22 and a half years ago. It's going to be 23, November 18th. I flatlined and I saw the other side. Let me just tell you, it is way beyond human understanding. But you're going to experience that for yourself one day. I hope not today. And you'll discover that what awaits us is amazing. And it's not small-minded. You think what created a universe is small-minded? No. And we have to experience all these things so that we can make new choices, so that we can learn and grow. Some people will never learn and grow. And maybe they continue to experience this loop until they learn and grow. I don't know. I do know that sin is a myth. It was not mentioned in my life review. Only the good I had done. And that's not small-minded, by the way. That's limitless thinking. That we're here. In my experience of the infinite, the creator, God, the goddess, the Abraham, it doesn't matter what you call it. The Mashua, the David, the Jesus, the Muhammad, the Vedic tradition, whatever you believe, God didn't create one or the creator of a universe. I call it God to keep it simple. But it could just be, as physicists define it, as the quantum field. It's a creative energy. And every time you get stuck in complaints and grievances and making others wrong, walking around angry, you're sending that into the quantum field. You're sending that energy out. And that's what returns to you. What goes out comes back. You'll have your own experience of it. But I can tell you that since sin wasn't mentioned in my life review, only the lives I had touched, the good I had done, people I had bought sandwiches for, had helped, family and friends, of course, that had passed. I sensed their presence. But even people I smiled at, and only the good that I had done was mentioned. Think about that. We're here to fall, or what religions call sin, to make other people wrong. Right? The brain loves to make other people wrong. We're right. You're wrong. You're a bad person. No, let's do good. Let's get over ourselves and start to think with limitless thinking and start to question our minds. That's what we're here to do, is do good and overcome this judgment thing that we have about other people and how they should live their lives. Other people's lives are none of my business and none of yours. My life is my business. That's it. Same for you. Your life is your business. Figure it out. Start challenging your own mind. Listen, and you don't have to. That's the beauty, right? Because I wrote the book, You Might Be Full of Shit If. And I freely admit I'm full of shit somewhere. I wrote that 4 or 5 years ago during COVID. Go look it up. You might be full of shit if. We're all full of shit somewhere. That's what we have to get. And we have all these opinions, but the saying about opinions is they're like assholes. Everyone has one and they stink. Monday morning quarterbacks abound. People who believe they're right abound. The elitist view of how other people should live their lives. It's wasted energy. And it's just my opinion. And you know what that's like. I don't take it too seriously. I just want to share the idea that if you start working on your own small-minded thinking and see what a difference it makes in your own life, start to notice where you react and who you're triggered by and think about why. Maybe it's something you don't know about yourself. Maybe you're just like that person. You're an idiot somewhere at some point in time in life, and now you're calling someone else an idiot. Yeah, well, now you're just like them. And it bothers you because you don't realize it. Somewhere you've been an idiot. We all have. Call them an asshole. Somewhere we've been an asshole. We all have. So here's my thought. Just keep working on that brain and noticing where it triggers you, because the trigger's the clue. And there's plenty of writing about it and other people that are talking about what I'm talking about. Neuro researchers are talking about it, that you can retrain the mind and that they have proven new neural pathways open thanks to neuroplasticity. The brain, when it's challenged, grows new neural pathways so that you can, over time, default to more reasonable, considerate thinking, appreciative thinking, willing to compromise and appreciate all the different beings in this existence which are here for us to appreciate, not to make wrong. And yes, there's wars and people fight over land. Yes, there's dumb stuff. We can see it everywhere. And they want to be right again, right? So the despots want to be right. Putin wants to be right. Hitler wanted to be right and convince millions of people to go with him. Mussolini, Idi Amin, all the despots over time are similar. Now, I listened to someone, and it's been more than one person that suggested they pre-agree to be despots and to be hated because they agree with the creator and the creative life force that it's the way for humanity to learn something and grow. Imagine, think about that. That's limitless thinking, that they came by agreement to really mess up our lives so that we would learn something, but from their despotic, negative, cruel behaviors. And we are learning more and more, but we're still not. We're not anywhere close. I mean, people are probably still are willing to fire off bombs of mass destruction. And you know what? When that happens, or if it does, I know where I'm going. I'm not afraid of death. Some days I'm more afraid of living. I'm not afraid of dying at all. And I wasn't that day waiting for the ambulance. 5 days before I flatlined on November 3rd, 1 second I was fine. And the next second I needed an ambulance. I was grateful. I don't even know why. Today, as I look back, I think it was a divine presence. I sensed a divine presence and that I knew this was going to be a miracle for me either way. But I never said, oh, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. EMTs asked me, how you doing? I said, I don't know how my body's doing, and I'm grateful. It didn't matter. I had a sense. And maybe I've come this way many times. And I know that we just keep going back to be present with the infinite, which was amazing. Way beyond anything we can comprehend. Immense love, mercy, grace, life, and these words do not do it justice. What I learned in my near-death experience is the good we do matters. How do you feel when you do good? Let's do good. I love that the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, Frank Siller, talks about his brother's trauma and on 9/11, and he started the Tunnel to Towers Foundation to help people. And his theme is at the end of most commercials and the times that he does speak, he talks about let's do good. Why do you feel good when you do good? Just consider something new and get over yourself. You're full of shit somewhere. Who cares? You got an opinion that stinks like your asshole. So what? We see many of them getting paid for that, by the way, on TV. And when you start to tell everyone else how to live their life, that's where you're an asshole. And it stinks. Let people live their lives. Who cares? the myriad of people that have gotten up to say, oh, if you do this or if you do that or you vote this way or you vote that way, it's wasted energy and it's actually causing the opposite reaction. And it doesn't matter what side you're on. That's what it does over time. It causes the general population to say, goodbye, we don't need you. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Look for some of my new products and books. And that's how you can support me. I don't charge for the podcast. It's free. And as well, I have a new podcast coming out that talks about parts of my life where I actually produced some movies and bought rights for books for movie deals and how that all worked out. I'll give you a clue. I learned a lot. And they all seemed like good ideas at the time. And that's what we need to do, is love ourselves, be compassionate with ourselves when we make mistakes, because that's what we're here to do. Think about it. All right. Steve at stevelentini.com. Steve at stevelentini.com. Here, I'll show you the book again so you can see how to spell my name. Steve at stevelentini.com. You can be a guest. You can come challenge me. Just remember, I might ask you, does that sound like small-minded thinking? Thanks. I'm grateful.